Hey guys, welcome to The Sports Entertainer. We have a ton of major wrestling news to share with you guys today, but before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you never miss out on an episode. We start off today's wrestling news with some downright tragic news, as an aspiring wrestler has sadly passed away at the truly young age of 26. Revolution Pro Wrestling took to social media earlier today to reveal that one of their wrestlers by the name of Curtis Chapman has sadly passed away at the unbelievably young age of 26. Here's what Revolution Pro Wrestling said on the matter, quote, "We at Revolution Pro Wrestling are absolutely heartbroken to report the loss of our dear friend Curtis Chapman. We watched Curtis grow from a child to a young man who loved professional wrestling and continued to excel in all aspects of his life. One of the most gifted technical wrestlers, charismatic characters, and magnetic personalities. He will never be forgotten." Resurgence Pro Wrestling would respond to the initial post detailing the passing of Curtis Chapman with, quote, "Everyone at Wrestling Resurgence is devastated to hear the news about Kurt. Kurt represented everything that was great about wrestling, both sides of the curtain. Our deepest condolences to everyone affected by this loss. Rest in peace, Kurt." As of right now, we don't have the details or circumstances surrounding Curtis Chapman's passing, but all we can say is that this is truly sad news, way too young man, and our thoughts and prayers are with Chapman's family and friends during this incredibly difficult time. Rest in peace, Curtis. Our next news story looks at Andrade returning to WWE. Now it appears as though the former United States champion Andrade could be making his way back to WWE in the near future, and as most of you are likely aware, Andrade's been gone from WWE since his release back in March of 2021, and ever since then, Andrade has been working for the competition All Elite Wrestling, though a lot of wrestling fans have made their feelings known that they think Andrade's run in All Elite Wrestling has been a bit of a flop in all honesty, and let us know what you guys think about that notion down in the comments section below. Anyhow, a wrestling news headline from today suggested that WWE apparently expect Andrade to return to the company due to the fact that Andrade has yet to sign any new contract with All Elite Wrestling, as his current deal is almost coming up. And one of our insider sources, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, had this to say recently regarding the Andrade situation, quote, "Andrade talked to the press after the match and said he's got a lot of open doors in 2024, and he's not sure which one he'll choose. I do know that those in WWE expect him to return. I also know those close to him who say that he may very well go back, but is also open to stay if Tony Khan makes a better offer than WWE. He would also like to work New Japan and would have wanted to do Fantastica Mania in February, but it conflicts with his schedule. Now, in all honesty, if Andrade was to decide not to re-sign with AEW and instead try to return to WWE, that probably wouldn't be the worst decision. The WWE no longer has Vince McMahon as the head of creative anymore. That role now belongs to Triple H, who was always a big fan or supporter of Andrade, so a WWE return does seem worthwhile for Andrade for sure. Now next up, Dominik Mysterio certainly threw some shade towards CM Punk, following their match at the Madison Square Garden live event on Boxing Day. By all means, the fact that WWE booked Dominik Mysterio to be CM Punk's first opponent in WWE since his return at Survivor Series shows just how highly WWE rate Dominik as a performer. This was a huge spot for Dominik, and even though Dom obviously ended up losing to the Cult of Personality in his return match, the match itself was great, and Dominik's stock has went up even with a loss. His future in WWE is incredibly bright for sure. However, even though there's no doubt that Dominik Mysterio respects CM Punk behind the scenes, Dominik couldn't help but show off his Dirty Dom persona and threw some shade CM Punk's way after their MSG match on the 26th, with Dominik posting a couple of pictures on Twitter or X with the caption reading, "The best in the world," and CM Punk #Judgment Day. What was even funnier is that a bunch of WWE superstars liked Dominik's post about being the best in the world, and that CM Punk was simply sharing the ring with the best in the world, as stars like Finn Balor, Grayson Waller, Dakota Kai, Carmelo Hayes, and Otis liked the post showing their support for Dominik over CM Punk. Now whether fans love him or hate him, Dominik is truly embracing his heel role in WWE and excelling at it, and Dom has a strong case for being considered the MVP of WWE this year in 2023, so it's no surprise that news went around a week and a half ago that Dominik Mysterio had signed a 5-year contract with WWE. Next up, WWE's shocking view on Goldberg returning. Now, former Universal Champion Goldberg has definitely been in the wrestling news headlines over the past couple of days, mainly regarding Goldberg being quite outspoken regarding WWE not giving him the retirement match they reportedly promised him, with Goldberg saying this on a recent podcast, quote, "Vince is like Dana White. He's the big boss and he makes everything happen. In all honesty, he gave me the opportunity to put my wife and my son on the front row and gave me the ability to perform again in front of them. So I owe him everything until we went to Saudi Arabia and he asked me to put Roman Reigns over and I had COVID. I remember calling him from my house and I said, listen, here is the deal, I'll do it if you give me a retirement match. I did what he asked. As a performer that runs around in his underwear, I was 56 years old when I did this. As a human being, you're conscientious about how you look in a bathing suit, especially 2 months prior to being in that bathing suit. You couldn't work out for 2 months because you had COVID. I put myself in a horribly crappy situation to get what I wanted to, but to satiate him and to give him what he wanted. Problem is, he never held up his bargain. Vince is a piece of crap as far as I'm concerned." Now, one source Ringside News revealed they had received confirmation after speaking to sources within WWE that Goldberg is apparently never talked about backstage, and that there are reportedly no discussions about him returning to the company at all, which shows WWE have quite simply moved on from Goldberg and don't care whether he returns or not, and actually would prefer it if he doesn't, judging by these latest backstage reports. Next, when will Rey Mysterio be returning to WWE? Well, thankfully, we have some very positive news to share regarding Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio's status within WWE, because clearly Mysterio will be returning to action in WWE very soon. Now, most of you are probably aware that Rey Mysterio had been written off of WWE television back on the November 10th SmackDown episode following a vicious attack from former LWO member Santos Escobar, and the reason why Mysterio had been written off of TV was so that Rey could undergo surgery for a knee injury, with one source, House of Wrestling, previously revealing that Rey Mysterio had been working for WWE with a torn meniscus for 3 months, and that it had basically gotten worse, so Rey required surgery which could explain his United States title loss to Logan Paul. However, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter revealed that Rey Mysterio is apparently planning a WWE return soon, and is basically targeting a return time frame from 2 or 4 weeks from now, which is great news. Next up, major star returning to WWE on special Raw Day 1 episode. Now, one of our sources, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, has reported that per WWE sources, the company are apparently very close to securing a former WWE champion to be making an appearance on the special January 1st, 2024, Day 1 episode of Monday Night Raw, with Fightful sources revealing that they are very confident in WWE's abilities to get this deal done. As of right now, we have no potential names of who this former WWE champion could be that the company are trying to make an appearance on Raw Day 1 next week, but it was reported that it wouldn't be a superstar on the current roster. By all means, this only adds more excitement to this special Raw Day 1 show for sure, and let us know who you guys think this former WWE champion could be. Well guys, that's it for today's major wrestling news. Make sure you leave a like and comment, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you'll never miss out on an episode. Finally, if you haven't already, give us a follow on Twitter at TSE Wrestling, and we will see you guys in the next video.